Welcome to the Zions Bank Economic Update. I'm Deb Speed, and joining me today is Robert Spendlove, here to share his insights on the housing and construction market. Robert, why don't we start by having you share your insights with us into what's going on with the housing market right now?
Sure. So we're seeing a really strong housing market, both at the national level, also at the local level in Utah and Idaho. For instance, if we look at the median home sale prices, it's approaching pre-recession levels. For instance, in the U.S., home prices topped out around $195,000 pre-recession. Then they bottomed out at $135,000. They're back up to $200,000. In Idaho, home prices closely mirror the U.S. home prices, where they rose to about $214,000 pre-recession, dropped out at the bottom at $136,000, and now they're back up to $195,000. Now in Utah, home prices have consistently been above the national average. And so they rose to $272,000 pre-recession, dropped to $185,000, and now they're back up to $253,000. So we're seeing a lot of strength in home selling.
It sounds like if they haven't surpassed pre-recession levels, they're at least approaching it.
They're very close.
What about foreclosures?
Foreclosures continue to drop. It's a very good story there too. If we look at the percent of homes in foreclosure, not only have they come down significantly from the height of the recession, but they now actually are below pre-recession levels. So we're seeing a lot of strength in foreclosures. And as a result, we're seeing home building activity at both the national and state level is on the rise. We're seeing that through building permit activity. But what's really interesting is the kind of building that we're seeing. We're not only seeing big increases in single-family homes, but multifamily housing is seeing big increases. In fact, in the state of Utah, in 2014, multifamily or apartment building surpassed the building of single-family homes. The last time that happened was 1984.
Wow. So what do you attribute all this strength to?
So there's a few reasons why we're seeing this. One of the main reasons is very low mortgage interest rates. And much of this strength is being driven by what's happening internationally. So for instance, recently we had the vote by Great Britain to leave the European Union. What that did was that forced the price of the British pound down to 31-year lows. And then you couple that with weakness in the rest of Europe and in Asia, where you have central banks actually pushing interest rates down lower. And so investors are leaving those markets and they're investing more in the U.S. bond market. So that's driving prices down in U.S. bond markets, in the U.S. interest rates down, which is really manifesting in those long-term mortgage rates. Then if you couple that, especially in the Western U.S., these low interest rates are being coupled with very strong economies, low unemployment, strong employment growth, strong wage growth, and that's giving people more disposable income to invest in homes. And this dynamic is very strong in Utah and Idaho, where in Utah and Idaho, we've seen among the strongest economies in the country for the past couple years.
So it's great if you want to buy a home, but is there any downside to this strength?
So anytime a market has dramatic increases, it increases the probability of that downside risk. And we can really see that in the value of new construction. So new construction valuation is not only approaching pre-recession levels, but it looks like with the kind of rise that we're seeing, that it could be surpassing pre-recession levels. Now, if we look at the absolute building, if we look at the number of units being created, those are at justifiable levels, but the value of new construction seems to be at a level that it may be showing some signs of overheating. And so that's an area that we're watching really closely and making sure that it doesn't overheat. Anecdotally also, we're starting to hear stories about homes that are selling in one day, or homes that are receiving multiple offers and they're turning into bidding wars. Those are also signs of a market that's very hot and could be overheating. However, on the other side, one of the things that's really important to keep in mind is that the circumstances that existed that created the Great Recession are no longer in the economy. That kind of fundamental weakness, some of the abuses that created the Great Recession are not there anymore. And so that risk has been taken away, and I think our economy is better able to mitigate any of these downside risks compared to before.
That's really good news. Thanks for sharing the expertise. It's going to be especially helpful for those who want to buy, sell, or maybe even build a new home.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us for this economic update. For more information and analysis, please visit zionsbank.com/economy.